Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to the road slash trip slash the not road trip for the game tonight at Old Trafford. Manchester United taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. 8:15 kickoff UK time. Remember the extra unnecessary 15 minutes. 8:15. And my message or my pre-match thoughts are very, very simple. Don't change anything. Okay? And I say that, and I mean that with the greatest respect of everything. But unless it's forced, i.e. Mason Mount can't start because you've got to manage him and this, that, and the other. Fine, I get that. But don't change anything. Don't change the system back to anything else. Don't tweak nothing else. Don't experiment with no other players at this precise time. They played well enough in that first half with the starting team we had. Of course, like I said, take out Mason Mount. You don't know what's going to happen there. There's no new players, to our knowledge, that are back in them few days. Amram said that so himself. So carry on. Dorg is in great form in the last two games. You want momentum, you want continuity. Keep him at right wing. Keep Dorgdinho doing what he does best, which is cutting in and having shots, which is hitting volleys, dropping out the sky under the lights. Do you know what I'm saying? Replicate that. Give him that again. So I'd keep him where he is. I think the 10 position is going to be interesting because if Mason Mount isn't available, then there does obviously have to be a change regardless of what I'm saying. Manager might think he needs to freshen up anyway. But what does that look like with what we've got? Off the top of my head, I would say, Mason Mount was in the 10 that day. Would you just put, I don't know, would you put Jack Fletcher in the 10? Would you just start him? Would you put Cunha in the 10? But then who else would you have on the wing? Might be a bit tight. Now, I'm thinking off the cuff here. This is like a lot of change. Probably what Ruben wouldn't do. But if Mason Mount's injured and he doesn't want to start one of the youngsters, could he move Cunha into the 10? Hear me out on this. Dorgu stays where he is, right wing. Lenny Yoro, hear me out, at right back, which obviously has been a problem, just saying. Dallo at left wing, cutting in from that side, and Cunha in the 10, and Luke Shaw stays at left back. Now, I don't think he would do that because, listen, I know it's Wolves at home. I'm not saying Lenny not going to get ever start again, but the continuity of having him at right back and, how Dallo played, etc., you're probably better off keeping Dallo at right back with Dorgu right wing, and you keep Luke Shaw at left back. Martinez and Heaven, you keep them there. You don't disrupt that. Aiden Heaven was mutabella, yeah? He was unbelievable, okay? But don't change it. Keep him there. Lisandro Martinez was brilliant. And look, this is a game, yeah? Now, I'll be honest. I said this about Wolves the first time. We went on to beat them 4-1. And jovially, you guys were like saying, well, I thought you said they were decent, Flex. And when I say decent, I use that term a bit loosely because obviously they haven't won a game all year and they're the worst team we've ever seen statistically, numbers-wise. But when you watch the games that they're involved in, when you have a little look at what's going on, you start to see, like, they're in games. And I think that game that night at Molineux, I just think they opened up. They tried to play against us. And in these big away games they've been having, which they've all lost, by the way, by fine margins, they've given themselves a puncher's chance, a fighting chance in some of these games, So, look, I still believe we're going to win this game. I think we will win. We will win this game. But I don't think we brought them up. I don't think we beat them up 3s and 4s. I don't believe that will happen. I think it will be a lot more cagey. I think it'll be a lot more tight. I think they'll have a lot more bodies behind the ball. How it was against Newcastle United is not how it's going to be during this game. And we have to be ready for that. They're going to have potentially 11 men behind the ball a lot of times and just look to counter. What does that look like? If you don't get an early goal, if you don't get a goal in the first half, if the second half's ticking on and, keepers just making bare saves or the players are starting to rush, they're starting to get agitated and force things and the crowd gets a little bit, my days, it's the 78th minute, man, it's still 0-0 against these. Like, what's going on? What's happening? So these are things that do happen. Nothing is cut and dry. Nothing in this league is cut and dry. Even against opposition like Wolverhampton Wanderers that have 2 points all season and, you know, have been absolutely awful. You know, awful team. But I can't stress enough, nothing is a given in the Premier League at all. This should be an evening where, you know, we're creating enough chances. Benjamin Sesko can eat. He hasn't scored a goal in a little while. He is offering things off the ball in transitions and can hold the ball up, and he's good with his feet. But then there's other times where he snatches at things and looks a bit raw. You want him to get a couple of goals. You want him to get in the feel and in the mood for things. Can we see the likes of Jack Fletcher potentially getting a start? You know, because the game that he came on against Villa was very, very tough, second half. And the second game he played against Newcastle United in the last game, especially under the circumstances of how the game played out, the kid didn't get a touch. You know, so much so that some people took an assessment of that game, that half, means he's not ready. And I'm not saying he definitely is and he needs to play in a team and all that, but I'm saying that's not a fair chance. That's not a fair crack at the whip. You know, even some of our most senior players in the second half weren't ready. Mateus Cunha was trying to do everything, couldn't get out. You know what I'm saying? So no one was, off the back of that second half against Newcastle United, it was like we was playing with 9 men. It's not a true judge. It was a very difficult game for a young player to come in and make his home debut, by the way, with all that pressure. If anything, I think of it the opposite way. I think of it as Jack Fletcher's done well to step into that game, having not really have many touches of the ball, but be defensively disciplined enough to not leave a big gap that someone can run in behind him and expose us and get an easy route to goal or make a silly foul or give away a penalty or, you know, just when it's like that, you just have to slot in. If you have to keep hooking it away, you have to keep hooking it away, etc., etc. So maybe he could get a start or some more minutes in this type of game. Get a feel for the ball at Old Trafford. Get some passes, get some nice touches, get some shots off. That would be nice. That would be nice for him if he does start. It'd be interesting to see. Could we see Shea Lacey start as a surprise inclusion from the beginning? Because, you know, Ruben might want to keep Cunha on the left. Might want to keep the midfield two as they are and keep Dorgu where he is. So there is a hole in the team if Mason Mount can't play. If Mason Mount's not in the squad or has to be on the bench, there has to be someone else who comes in. And could it be one of the youngsters? Could it be Jack Fletcher / Shea Lacey? That's the question. You know, because I don't think we have another left winger to go out there unless it's that Dalot situation I was talking about. So if you keep everything else the same, which I think he would, then who's going to play in the 10 if Mason Mount can't play there? Does he just play Joshua Zirkzee there? I haven't really thought about that. I don't think he will. But that's also an option in a 4-2-3-1, and you just play Joshua Zirkzee in a 10 behind Sesko. Might do that. So we'll see. We'll see. But we just need to win the game. And I think we will. We will win the game. I'll see you guys there, guys. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to United View if you are new to the channel, haven't done so already. And I'll see you at match day live. Well, it's match day now. I'll see you at match time. I'm out of it. Peace.